Hello friends, welcome to another Smiling Colors video. This is Smita here, also known as the Shininess on Instagram, with a new tutorial today. We're exploring how to create watercolor background with markers. I'm going to walk you through the steps on how you can create this artsy, messy, colorful watercolor look here using markers. Just 4 colors of markers and a few cotton swabs. Sounds intriguing, right? But trust me, it's super fun. So let's get started. Here's what you will need. A few card bases. We're going to turn our watercolor backgrounds into cards later. Watercolor paper. I'm using a good 140 pound paper that I've trimmed to our card size already. Today the Tombow design team is collaborating with Sweet Stamp Shop. So I have these adorable stamps that I plan to stamp onto these small pieces of cardstock with some black VersaFine ink. I also have an acrylic block, all of my 96 Tombow Dual Brush pen colors to choose from, a few cotton swabs, a paintbrush, and my blending palette. I'm not actually going to use my blending palette today, but instead I'll show you a blending hack using my acrylic stamp block itself. I also have Tombow's XTREME adhesive and a black pen. I'm using the Mono Twin permanent marker here. Time to create. I chose 4 colors of pens here today. These are dual brush pen numbers 743, 933, 985, and 703. You just start by adding blocks of color using the brush tip of the dual brush pens. Get messy, have fun, just add color. You don't have to be too neat. You can try this technique with any water-based marker. All you need to do is dip your cotton swab into water and then add water stripes, I think I can call them, onto each color. You won't see anything at first, but after a few seconds the color pigments react with the water and create this cool abstract-like pattern. Here, let me show you that again. Scribble your color onto watercolor paper. This works best on watercolor papers or mixed media papers because of all the water we're going to add. Then dip your cotton swab into some water and draw lines onto the color. Give it a few minutes and you will see that the colors change, move, and blend and give this beautiful watery look. At this point, you could totally stop and call it good. But I'm going to go ahead and add a few more layers of colors. That's just who I am. I'm going to use the acrylic stamp block as blending palette and simply scribble some of the yellow color onto it. And then I'm picking up the color with a wet paintbrush and adding my yellow to any empty white space I can see. My watercolor paper is still moist. It hasn't dried completely, so this watery yellow color blends into the previous layers nicely. At this point, I want to add a bit more color, but I'm going to quickly dry this first and speed things along with my heat gun. You could put this aside to air dry naturally, but I'm impatient today, so heat gun it is. Now this is dried quite a bit and looks pretty. Let's add another layer of color. This time I'm scribbling the yellow onto the acrylic stamp block, then pressing the block directly onto the paper. This adds soft splotches of the yellow. Finally, I'm dipping a clean cotton swab in water and then just tapping the cotton swab onto the paper to add big dots of water. This water will react with the color beneath and add more details and variations of color. I'm just taking a paper towel here. You could use a clean kitchen towel instead, and I'm pressing it down to absorb the water, and you can see immediately wherever we added the cotton swab dots, the color has lightened. So pretty. So I'm going to call this one done, put it aside to dry now, and let's start creating another background. This time I scribbled just 2 colors, yellow and orange, to fill the paper. Then I'm going in with the wet cotton swab dipped in water to add dots of water and blend some areas. Next, add pink to the acrylic stamp block, and then with my paintbrush, I'm watering it down. And then I'm placing the block itself directly onto the paper. And I'm letting it sit there for a few seconds. This is a great way to add a watercolor effect, and since the blending palette is opaque, I like to use this transparent acrylic block that I can see through. A quick drying with the heat gun again, and now I'm adding some water to the paintbrush to cover up any white space that I can see and blend any marker color that remained. Again, I love how this looks already, and you could totally stop here. But I will go forward, and this time I'm picking up some pink color off my acrylic block, and with my cotton swab, I'm then adding these soft pink dots as another layer of color. And we let this dry too. While those dry, I'm going to quickly stamp this cute dog and cat image using black ink. I'm not a great stamper, so my advice to myself is always to keep it simple. These images are so cute already anyhow. I'm hand lettering a sentiment, happy birthday onto one and then thank you for another one, right beneath the stamped images. I find that these are the kind of cards I give out the most, and I tend to make these more so that I can have a small stash on hand. Now it's time to put our cards together. This goes quickly since we already have everything ready. Those backgrounds dried beautifully. I love the color on it. I also quickly added a line of doodle dashes to tie the card elements together. Then using the Tombow XTREME adhesive, I adhered everything into place. I always use the Tombow XTREME with watercolor paper. It holds it in place neatly and prevents the paper from bending. I love how cute this turned out. This technique is a great one to use any frayed pens you might have. It's a great beginner technique because there's no wrong way to do it at all. Whatever you make will be fun and I'm sure colorful. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this technique in today's tutorial. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you leave and stick around and watch a few more videos of mine with fun watercoloring techniques. I hope you have a great day and happy crafting!